Wait a minute. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Bree Mosier. I am with the Flint & Genesee Education and Talent Division. We are a division of the Flint & Genesee group that focuses on talent development, retention, and attraction, but we certainly don't do it alone. We have incredible community partners who are also an important part of this workforce development wheel, and that brings me to Jessie with GST Michigan Works. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for being here. We couldn't let May slip away without recognizing Professional Trades Month. So you may have seen we've been sharing some content around that, some articles. And while apprenticeship programs are definitely not solely focused on the trades, it is a great way to kind of start that conversation about what a career could look like through apprenticeship programs. Luckily, there are several local apprenticeship opportunities that can help you get started, and GST makes it super easy to learn more about that. So Jessie's going to be sharing some information on that with us today. Jessie, anything that you want to say as a quick introduction to who you are, what you do, and what GST Michigan Works does?
Sure. So I work very closely with our business services team. I'm the Chief Services Officer here at GST. So work closely with our career services side and our business services side to kind of help that system work together and make sure that we're on the front end of everything that we need to be doing to help workers prepare to go to work. Your example of the trades, is probably the best known example of apprenticeships. And it's a great example for us to use. But hopefully today we can talk a little bit about how, as you said, it's not necessarily just construction labor or construction trades, but all different kinds of industries that we're working with. So super proud of our apprenticeship team and excited to share some of the work that we're doing today and how easy it can be for any employer.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get it out there. I'm always very surprised with, year over year, how many more industries are taking advantage of this type of opportunity to get people into their organization, to get them trained. And from an employee side, I think a lot of times there can be this perception that in order to find a career path, I have to go to college, and that's what's going to set me on the trajectory to have a successful career. But there are so many different options out there for you to explore if you feel like that type of post-secondary education is not for you. So this is a great way to start the conversation on that front too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and share. We're going to start with a quick video, and then Jessie has some slides that she's going to present. A couple of quick housekeeping items. If you have questions or comments at any time, please feel free to drop them into the comment section. We will address those all at the end, should any come through. So with that, I'll go ahead and tee up our video, and we'll get started.
Hi, I'm Wanda Bigelow. I am the Apprenticeship Manager with GST Michigan Works, and you've come to the right place to learn more about registered apprenticeship programs and incorporating them into your workforce. The occupations that apprenticeship programs are in every sector. So that's from transportation, education, healthcare, construction, advanced manufacturing, and hospitality. There are currently over 1,400 occupations that can have an apprenticeship program in them. These apprenticeship programs can be found in union or non-union companies of all sizes. So GST actually has worked with employers that has a company size of 2. It's the mentor and the apprentice. The apprenticeship training model is a structured training plan that an employer incorporates to train current or new employees. The plan consists of on-the-job training and classroom training, often referred to as RTI or related technical instruction. In addition to that, there is a ratio of 1 apprentice to 1 mentor, so the apprentices have support through that mentorship on the job. It is an earn while you learn model. Apprentices are an employee of the company and they are earning a wage while they're working and learning the skill of that occupation. Upon completion of the apprenticeship program, apprentices are awarded with a nationally recognized credential that is provided through the U.S. Department of Labor, Office of Apprenticeship, signifying that they are skilled in that specific occupation. So in an apprenticeship program, there is also an increased knowledge transfer from the experienced mentor to the apprentice, so they're learning to do exactly what the employer wants them to do on the job. All apprenticeship programs are customized completely to the employer's needs. So we could have 2 CNC apprenticeship programs, but they're going to look completely different depending on what the employer's needs are. Many studies have been done, and 91% of the apprentices who complete an apprenticeship program remain employed with their employer. So there is an increased retention rate that happens with registered apprenticeship programs. And employers get a stable and reliable pipeline of qualified workers when they have a registered apprenticeship program put in place. GST works with many employers in our region. We help employers identify the occupation that they would like to start a registered apprenticeship program for. We connect employers with the appropriate resources to help grow their apprenticeship program. We also help employers develop a training plan for both on-the-job and classroom. It really is following your policies and procedures, and all we're doing is putting it into the format that the Department of Labor wants to see. So we're not starting anything new or from scratch. It's really utilizing everything you're already doing. So once that training and education piece is developed and the outline is put together, GST submits that to the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship for approval. Once the approval comes through, we will handle all of the administrative tasks that come along with the apprenticeship program, including registering your apprentices to the Department of Labor's database called RAPIDS. And then as your workforce needs evolve, GST Michigan Works is going to be there alongside you to help with those changing needs. In addition to that, we're going to help promote this apprenticeship program, and we're going to help with recruitment as needed. Thank you so much for getting more information about registered apprenticeship programs. If you'd like to work on creating your own program, please click on the link below that's attached to my calendar, and we'll schedule a time to meet.
Okay, and I'll make sure that I find that link and add it to our description and in the comments. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. I'll pull up your slides here to share some more information.
Sounds great. Well, I couldn't be here to present today without bringing our resident expert, Wanda Bigelow, even by video, to this, because she really has done an excellent job with her team of building registered apprenticeship programs for employers in our region. So I want to just touch on a few elements and kind of reiterate a few things that Wanda mentioned in the video. Oh, there we go. So, she makes it sound so simple, right? It's, it starts with the employer, which is absolutely true. I think what we really like to focus on and emphasize is that, as in our work with apprenticeships, as we're working with businesses, this is an extension of our business services team. So our interest is to initially listen and understand to what the needs are. We work with many employers that have an interest in starting a registered apprenticeship program, but they don't necessarily want to feel like they've got somebody pushing them along the entire way. They want to work at their pace and figure out what program they want to start with. Sometimes that takes us doing a little homework alongside them and helping to figure out what's going to be the best to make it long-term successful. So certainly the apprenticeship program can't exist without the employer, or in some cases, if it's a collaborative, a group of employers that have identified a particular program that would be helpful. The best part about apprenticeships is that hands-on element. Most registered apprenticeship programs, the individual is 80% on the job training, and then the rest is that related technical instruction, whether that's, classroom training with a training provider. But the best thing is having the opportunity to have that mentor. And we know that so many employers right now are experiencing individuals that are getting ready to retire. We're in the midst of that silver tsunami that we've heard about for all these years. And, I don't know about you, but I look around in my own organization and see coworkers that have been here for 30 and 40 years and think, wow, what are we going to do when that knowledge walks out the door? And the answer really is connecting, coming up with a game plan, identifying what those critical occupations are that we need to get people in, and learning from those mentors one-on-one. Um, Obviously, huge component of the apprenticeship program is the education partner. We at GST Michigan Works obviously work with many, many training providers and post-secondary institutions, community colleges, and organizations. So we certainly have access if the employer is looking for those partners to provide information and share, what is available out there. And we're very fortunate to have such a wonderful ecosystem here in our region, to be able to reach out to those training providers and education partners if there isn't something that's existing, and figure out how we can help to develop a curriculum that's going to meet that employer need. It's very, very rare for us to come across something that if we can't find it, we can create it. And we have plenty of partners that are willing to go the extra mile to help figure that out. One element of the apprenticeship program is that obviously this is meant to upskill people and help raise them up. So, as part of that apprenticeship program, they must receive pay increases as they meet those benchmarks for skills that are attained. So, as we're working with employers to develop that program, we really have to have a very realistic conversation about the possibilities and what the plan is for that program to make sure that we can help everyone stay on track. Apprentices then receive a nationally recognized credential that's portable and stackable. The benefit for that too is it's much overutilized phrase to say it's a win-win, but it genuinely is when we're talking about an apprenticeship. The individual is invested in and they own those skills. There's a lot of fear a lot of times with different businesses that we're going to train this person and they're going to move on. We'll talk about some of those challenges, but when you have that co-equal investment, Wanda, I think, cited a statistic in that video to really outline that you end up getting a lot of employee loyalty when you recognize that your employer is willing to invest in you. And most people are looking for those upward mobility opportunities, and so it's a great, great investment. And certainly in this labor market, when we're struggling to find people to come in, it's a great opportunity to look at who we've got in our workforce, or entice those new hires with what the future potential is for an apprentice. Next slide. Thank you. So I'm going to jump to the challenges a little bit. In our region, what we have experienced is that there's not quite as many registered apprenticeship programs as we would like, and as individuals would like to see. So our charge as a workforce agency and really as a system is to help to bring that information to employers, and help them to see what the potential benefits for a registered apprenticeship program are. A lot of times different employers may think that the length of the training is a little bit too long, or they're a little bit resistant maybe to, am I going to have to give up control of what that hiring process looks like? And so these are elements that actually we helped with, again, as a regular business services team, but our registered apprenticeship group, our little team that's part of our business services crew, really helps to navigate that process and bring some best practices in to help make sure that you're meeting all of the requirements for the appropriate selection process. And it really is not as challenging as you might think that it is. So limited opportunities is our big challenge. And that's really what took us a few years ago to the point where we decided as an organization that GST Michigan Works would hold standards for employers. It's an excellent opportunity, certainly one of the biggest things that we hear, or barriers, I guess, would be that, I don't want to have time or capacity for the extra paperwork, or to have to chase this down, or to make sure that we're in compliance. One of the wonderful things about GST holding the standard for an employer is that we do majority of the legwork behind the scenes. And that includes registering your program, making sure all of that's approved, and then helping as the apprentice goes along the way. Now, by no means does that mean that we're on site doing the work for everyone. But that heavy lifting part where we're talking about the paperwork and compliance issues and collection of hours and all of those things, we really try to take the burden off of the employer. And at this point, we've got 25 different employers that we are working with now that we are holding standards for, and we are seeing that continue to grow through the region. So absolutely love that. Next slide. So the benefits of a registered apprenticeship program, I feel like I've talked a lot about that, but having a highly skilled workforce, we all know that folks are coming in and maybe they have a particular skill set, but is it the skills that you need for your business? That's really one of the biggest benefits of an apprenticeship program is that you can customize the training for what you need for your business. It's not a one size fits all. Reduction in recruitment costs is absolutely true. We certainly see that individuals, one of the best networking opportunities is word of mouth. When people see an employer that is investing in people, where they see a future and an opportunity, where there's potential for growth or to learn new skills, it definitely helps with that recruiting process where you have people coming to you. There's skill shortages in various industries. And so this is a great opportunity to be able to stay connected with those education providers and also, I might say, influence those education providers on what's new and changing. So not only are they getting that RTI with the provider, but that's information and intel that then goes back to that education or training institution to help better train individuals that are coming into the workforce. And then, of course, retention, keeping those individuals employed. It's a lot cheaper to keep somebody than it is to find somebody new, and a registered apprenticeship program can certainly do that. Next slide. Thank you. So originally, I think some of these slides were directed towards educators, but as I was looking at this, I thought, this is really a community development. Whether you're an educator, you're a parent, you're a family member, I'm going to put my kind of other hat on here and talk about things from a promotion of apprenticeships as a career pathway. So a lot of times we meet individuals that they're either in career transition and they want to do something different, but they maybe don't want to go back to school. They want to try something that's challenging, but they don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time going back to school. Or we hear all the time from, folks at all age levels and all skill levels that they're a hands-on learner. And so, really what we are doing here at GST is trying to help to make sure that apprenticeships are acknowledged and recognized as a opportunity that is co-equal with all kinds of lifelong learning opportunities. And so it's, what we're recommending really for our community and for families and, individuals that are mentoring people is, help to spread the word that there are individuals that are making wonderful livings and in a lot of cases exceeding income levels of individuals with a four-year degree. There's nothing wrong with a four-year degree. There's just all kinds of opportunities for folks on all different pathways. And certainly going into debt is a big concern for everyone when we're talking about the cost of education. So, anything that folks can do to help spread the word that apprenticeships are a great way for folks to have a very wonderful career would be helpful. Next slide. Thank you. So GST and apprentices, I kind of walked through this a little bit, but I want to just make sure that, we really are clear of how simple it can be. Initially, typically how it works when you're working with us is it starts with a fact finding. What we do is sit down, listen, understand what the industry needs are, understand how that relates to what your specific organizational needs are. And then we go to work. We help to develop the work process after you've decided what occupation you would like to start with. And from there, Wanda and her team, they help to define the wage scale. They help you identify what training provider or educational institution you're going to work with for the curriculum development. And then they do all of the heavy lifting when it comes to that connection with the Department of Labor. That's an area that, historically, I think people have experienced where, oh gosh, this can really take a long time. it can really go as fast or as slow as the employer wants it to. At this point, there is such a positive support in the state of Michigan here, from the state level and through the Office of Apprenticeship, that it doesn't take a very long time for us to be able to work through that submission process and get a program approved and get things moving. So Wanda mentioned the RAPID system that actually stands for Registered Apprenticeship in a Day. I don't know that it's always in a day, but certainly not the months and months that a lot of people think that it can be. Next slide. So this got a little bit wonky on the transfer, but as I said, we're working with 25 employers across multiple industries. We have different companies in manufacturing, construction, healthcare, transportation, education, and hospitality. I think one of our coolest apprenticeships that we have is in childcare. Not a job that a lot of people would think that would be an apprenticeable occupation, but it certainly is. And we follow an in-demand process, and so obviously we know that there's a great need for childcare workers. And certainly we're working through the challenges there that exist for particular industries, but it's programs like that that are helping us to change the shape of what those occupations can look like. Next slide. So Wanda Bigelow is our apprenticeship manager here at GST Michigan Works. Her contact information is listed here. And I know Bree said that she would provide the link. We've tried to make it as simple as possible on our website. So there's not a lot of back and forth. We know employers don't have a ton of time to call 5 people and set up all these meetings. So we like to have a direct link that just says, Wanda, I can talk to you at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll make that happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us today. I'm so glad that you mentioned the childcare apprenticeship program, because Wanda and I spoke about that when we met a couple of weeks ago. And I thought that was just such a unique way to approach a huge problem nationwide, statewide, but really in our area, because a lot of times we're hearing from employees, they need childcare in order to be able to work, but our childcare providers need workers in order to be able to provide that service. So I think it really is just like a win-win all around.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited about that work and all these different emerging occupations that I think people think, oh gosh, I didn't get a 4-year degree. Well, all of a sudden, I think there's a little bit more accessibility for folks.
Mm-hmm.
And, as I said earlier, for us, it's about getting someone on the path to lifelong learning. So, in some cases, in the childcare is a great example, that individual is going to come out close to, if not with, an associate's degree.
Right.
And, they didn't necessarily think that that was something that they were interested in, but through this combination of the hands-on learning and being able to earn while you learn, which is a big barrier for folks that want to do training. I still have to have a job.
Yeah.
It ends up working out in the end, and who knows where they might take that from there.
Yeah. And from an employer side, I feel like it makes them so much more appealing, because oftentimes we think of the standard benefit package. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to make? What type of insurance am I going to have? But a lot of times people are looking for benefits by way of professional development. What kind of effort is this employer going to put into me and the development of my career? And then, like you said, in the benefits, in the long run, that turns into loyalty and retention. And, they feel like you've taken the time to invest in them. And so they want to invest their talents back into your workplace once they've completed the program.
Absolutely. Yes. We're seeing that over and over again with our apprentice retention, and it's a wonderful thing. We're looking forward to expanding more programs for sure.
Great. Okay, well, I don't see any questions coming through in the comments. I did go ahead and drop that link in there. So if you would like to follow up with Wanda regarding how to start an apprenticeship program, or if you're on the other side of it thinking this might be the path for me to figure out where it is that I want to take my career, GST is a great resource for you. Jesse, as we close today, anything else that you want to promote or plug from the GST Michigan Works front?
Oh, well, one benefit that actually I should have mentioned is we are working with the Going Pro Talent Fund. I'm sure a lot of employers have heard of that and taken advantage of that. One of the real advantages, I mentioned how the state is really supportive. And employers that are training apprentices, typically the top end for training per individual is $2,000. When you have a USDOL registered apprenticeship program, you can get a reimbursement of up to $3,500 per trainee.
Wow.
So there are some significant advantages. We're watching that kind of point structure change. And so, as employers are working with like a community college, and so that individual has the opportunity to get college credits, that can add points to their going pro process. So, when I think about, if you're going to be training anyway, why not try to submit that training plan and see if it's something that we can help to offset that cost. And if you have a registered apprenticeship program, you can offset that cost even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
Right.
Thank you so much for adding that additional information. If you want to learn more about the Going Pro Talent Fund, we did a webinar on it last month. Some of those dates have come and gone in terms of deadline, but this is a program that has been thankfully funded year over year, cycle over cycle. So we'll be sure to share that information the next time it comes around. Jesse, thank you so much for being here today, for all that you guys do and being such a great resource here in our community.
Thanks for being a great partner.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next time, everyone. Thank you.